There we go. We are live. We are live. What's going on, world? What it do? What it is? What's happening? What it business be? What up, though? Welcome to the Extraordinary Exchange podcast, where you give us your ears, eyes, and attention in exchange for valuable, meaningful content for the culture in the areas of success and the world of entrepreneurship. I am your host, Mr. Nate Bennett. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Bennett and Kaesi Gilmore. Say what's up to the people, Case.
What's happening, good people? It's Case. So what we here for, man? I guess we're gonna talk about the podcasting in general and the backstory of the group and let the people know about us. So hey world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, speaking of the group, this is powered by the Extraordinary Exchange. The Extraordinary Investment Group. An investment group comprised of 12 Black men who got together back in 2020, pulled our resources together to create a legacy bigger than ourselves. And, Case, you being the CEO, I'll let you get on the background of that. And then we'll talk about how this podcast came to be, because we're not podcasters. We didn't, grow up like, oh, I want to be like Oprah Winfrey. I want to be like this person, doing these podcasts and these interviews with these experts. But this is something, maturation process that just kind of, evolved from the investment group. So tell them how that came to be, Case.
All right, so investment group. Had a vision. I had a vision, right? Like I got friends, we all cool. We do stuff together, but at some point, like there has to be a purpose, right? There needs to be a purpose. So I've had ideas in the past, hey, let's plan a trip fund or something like that, and it sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Most of the time in this situation, it really didn't. And so it's like, well, all right, cool. So the next step is, all right, well, let's find a way to create a purpose. And right around the pandemic, I introduced the idea to a few of my friends. Let's try to change the world, right? Based on certain principles, criteria, group economics. And to be honest with you, is I have a bazillion ideas in my head, and most of them are pretty freaking good. How do I inspire others to be better than their current self, their situations, and not really thinking about the end goal at the beginning per se, but thinking about providing a feasible, tangible purpose that you can get behind, and you can inspire yourself you can invest in yourself, on a path to greatness. That's really what it boiled down to. So again, around Juneteenth, not Juneteenth, that's something later on, around the coronavirus pandemic, some of the homies was losing their jobs. Me, I've always, had an idea of how to make extra money. And that goes back from cutting grass and shoveling snow and stuff like that.
I'm a homie.
Yeah, so it's like at this point, it's like, all right, we can create whatever using the skills that we have. The financial portion is how you basically is kind of how you it's basically your commitment, right? Your commitment to it. Because there's always ways to fund a business. There's always ways to do an event or something like that, but it's consistency. And a lot of times what we don't have and what our friend group didn't have is consistency. So it's kind of, all in all, is, at the end of the day, that's what inspired E.I.G, man. Just the opportunity for people to know that you don't have to have a 9-to-5. There's other ways to make money. A way to change your community. It's multifaceted, man. A way to change your community. We're in different places, so it's like we got I'm in North Carolina. Y'all are in Maryland, Virginia, DC. Yannick in Georgia. James in North Carolina with us and with me. So it's like, how do you change your community one step at a time, right? You plant the seed somewhere, somebody plants the seed somewhere, somebody plants the seed somewhere else. And so when it comes down to it, we got 12 awesome, dope individuals who are along this journey, who are, there. I said, we all say that we're co-founders, like it's the idea that I created, but and that was important at the beginning, right? It's like, um, everybody says I'm an only child. Everybody says that, kind of like, if it's my therapist said that it's either all or none with me.
My way or the highway sometimes. Yeah.
It's all or none with me. And it was a way for me to put my humility on stage, and for me to grow as well. Like, who wants to create something and then give up all of most of the controlling, so like, I'm the CEO and principal and title and all that, but I've built it so that everybody has a say, because who wants to give their money and not be able to say, who wants to be an investor per se, right? Because we're all investing in each other. Who wants to be an investor and not have a say at the table? Like, everybody has a seat at the table. Everybody has a chance to be their own CEO. Everybody has an opportunity to change the world, man. And that's what else can I ask? I can't ask for nothing better than that.
So yeah, to expound on that and to paint that picture again, we're all 12 Black men. We came together. We said we're gonna have a 5-year commitment. We got an initial investment. We're gonna invest into a pool every month, and we're gonna start learning. Again, it was around the pandemic, so people were furloughed. Some people got laid off, and they were trying to figure out, what we're gonna do. And even prior to that, we had been talking about developing this process. Got together, did research, got an operating agreement, figured out how to incorporate that, launched an LLC, and just start learning. Some of us had, experience with the stock market and investing. And I had some Forex experience. Entrepreneur, I've been in MLMs before, launched businesses. Case, you've had your own business before. A few of the gentlemen have. Again, from all different backgrounds, to education, to we got a mechanic, we got, all we're multifaceted. We're all friends, have known each other for 20, 25 years, but all came to the table with different skills and abilities to create this legacy. And we meet once a week, like you talked about, that consistency. We meet on Tuesdays, and we just start developing plans based on education and smart financial strategies. So we're constantly educating ourselves. We'll bring experts onto our meetings on Tuesdays to teach us about stuff. And as we learn, we're feeding back into the community. We're teaching the youth. We're all fathers. We have kids. We're sharing that. And again, this podcast is a way for us to share a lot of that knowledge that we've accumulated over the last few years. We started a nonprofit, E.I.G Cares. The CARE stands for Community and Resources Equal Success. So you take the community who doesn't have access to resources, you give them those resources, you put it together, and they're going to be successful. So we did food drives, we did back to school drives for the kids, we did clothing drives, and then we wanted to create a marketplace for Black businesses to shine. So we launched a Juneteenth Black Business Expo, which is coming up in a few months here in the DMV area. To where we cultivated this environment for small Black businesses. I think the first year we had 35 businesses. Outdoor event. It was beautiful. It was a festival. We had music. We had games for the kids, face painting, all that good stuff. Nonprofits. And again, people talking about financial literacy and education and investing and all that good stuff. And just started developing more and more. And as we started ironing this space out, to be leaders, better leaders, more intentional leaders in our communities, both physically and virtually, because we have an online presence now, we started getting a lot of positive feedback from people. Hey, y'all should do a podcast. Y'all should share some of this stuff. And I'm not naturally a public speaker. I love people. I love humanity, but this ain't me. So I'm stretching.
Nah,
I'm
this you.
becoming a better version of myself by
This
jumping
you.
in front of a camera on a week-to-week basis and interviewing folks, interviewing experts. So similar, we call it the Extraordinary Exchange Podcast. So similar to like the stock exchange, where people are exchanging commodities and they've created that marketplace. We're creating a marketplace for the culture to come, give good vibes, and we're going to provide, the blueprint. We're going to provide game, not from us because we're not experts, but we've cultivated dope relationships over the last few years with our events, with learning about investing. One of our founding members had the top investing and stock market group on Clubhouse. Had like 120,000 followers. Monday through Friday from 9 to 11. Hundreds of people were coming on to Clubhouse, learning about investing, learning about, just entrepreneurship and success. And again, this is just an extension of that. So that's pretty much the backstory. What you can expect from us, you could expect authenticity. You can expect, us being genuine, and giving people game, kind of cutting the power curve or the learning curve, because we didn't have people we could tap into to add, how do you start an investment group? We had to do our due diligence. We had to do research. We had to, no one held our hand with this. A lot of this, we hired lawyers to kind of make sure legally everything was how it was supposed to be. But we're trying to help the next generation of us and our peers to be successful. That's what it is. Anything else you want to pound on?
I would say that the one thing with the group is, again, 12 people is a lot. And to have people, accept the challenge makes it worthwhile. Like you do the social media, like, you taking a liking to it. And just gives people opportunity to, like you said, education is one of the key pillars, man, that we kind of branched it off of, and then it's simply put, like, education don't stop. You can, like, for instance, you ain't go to college. I went to college. You went to the military. Some of the homies that we went to school with didn't go to college, or they went to college, didn't finish college, right? And they just living life. And some of the other homies went to college, went through school, and so it's like it's a good mixture of minds and input, because not everybody's input, not everybody's ideas. Not everybody's ideas are always going to be put on the front of the front street at that moment, because it may have to be developed. It may have to may have to put some more work into it. Like, you have a great idea, but it needs some work, and we got to put the work behind it to make it come to fruition. So the good thing about it is that everybody provides input. Again, that was the important part of the dues, is everybody provides input. Everybody's input, when you pay your dues, that your input is valued. Because as I told people before, man, the train's gonna go with or without you.
Facts. I remember the very first meeting you had with us. We all got on Zoom. We was like, "Hey, I'd love to go on this ride with all of y'all, because all of y'all my family, but I'm gonna do it regardless." You know what I'm saying? And I think that set the precedent. Like, hey, like with the Extraordinary Exchange podcast, whether y'all rock with us or not, we're gonna continue to try to provide value to the community, to the culture, in an entertaining fashion. Not be stuffy, not feel like you in a college course, but we're gonna give you free game.
That's the important part, is for us to give you information where you're at, right?
Yes, facts.
With the podcast, with the social media, with whatever we do, even with the Juneteenth, it's about meeting people where they're at and um, being able to assist. I believe so. There's nobody. There's as a matter of fact, I went to a event yesterday talking to this dude who makes his own cigars.
Mm.
And I'm like, all right, but you only got 600 something followers on Instagram. What are we doing here, man? You know what I'm saying? So I said, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna post within the next few weeks. We'll post you on the joint. We'll get you some bumps, and then we'll come back and talk to you when it comes time to, and for real, that's really all it's about is finding. We're built on principles of, not necessarily just group economics, but kind of like building your own and building through your own community.
Yep.
Everybody does it. We do it, but we're disjointed. And that's just how society's made us.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what we're trying to do is kind of, pull a network together. There's power in numbers, there's power in community. So yeah, just
And
trying to.
that is what we're trying to do, what we're intentionally doing. We're in the process of doing because we've been doing it. And like you
I mean,
said,
yeah, like you're always the positive,
gotta check it, man. Gotta
but
check it.
again, like when I'm talking, like I'm always trying to solve a problem. You know what I mean? Like so it's like I know this is what we have to do. And we always get to the end goal where you be like, yeah, I tell you, it won't just, it won't. But when I'm when you're trying to figure it out, that's like Juneteenth. Like the Juneteenth joint, like the machine is already built. You know what I mean? Like the plans are already in play. That's not going to change for the entirety of that. But it's just trying to get all the pieces in place. You know what I mean? That comes highly stressful, but it makes it a lot easier with everybody's help.
You got 12
Everybody,
people, you got
and
communities, you got different organizations,
yeah. You don't
collaborating
have to
with
do it
us.
all. You don't have to feel like you. Yeah, you don't have to feel like nobody in the group has to feel like they're doing it all themselves. And that kind of takes a load off of. It makes it a little bit easier for folks.
Yep. So even with that, we're launching like a trucking business coming up soon, logistically to move medical supplies. We launched E.I.G Sports, so we got sports and helping the youth because a few of us have been in that space of coaching and mentorship in the Maryland area, helping young athletes eventually go on to be D1 and soon to be professional athletes. So just guiding them along that journey, seeing that maturation process over the last few decades. So it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, we appreciate y'all attention. We appreciate y'all tapping in with us. This will be a weekly podcast that we have. You can follow us on our Instagram, Extraordinary Exchange Podcast. You can check out the Extraordinary Investment Group at Invest with E.I.G. Or you can tap in with our business solution side, extraordinarybusinesssolutions.com, or investwitheig.com. You can find our link tree, you can find us, and we'll be on all the major platforms as we continue to move the culture forward with intention. All right. So yeah, again, we appreciate y'all. This is episode 0. And yeah, let's go for this ride.
For sure, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, y'all be good.
For sure.
Peace.